Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jai Vishnu Pad Paramahansa Parivrajaka Shodara Shata Shri Srimad Abhacharana Ravinda Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada Ki Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai Namaste Shri Haridas Thakur Ki Jai Premse Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhaktavinda Ki Jai Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopinath Yamakunda Radha Kunda Giri Govardhan Ki Jai Kantarat Srimad Bhagavatam Ki Jai Gaura Bhaktavinda Ki Jai. All glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to Shri Guru and Gauranga. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Okay. Sollen wir auf Deutsch lesen? You understand English? Yes. Kannst du übersetzen für Mathe? Ist das okay? Can she translate for you? Yeah. Otherwise, English, everyone understands. Yeah? Yeah, okay. Then we speak in English. Okay, we continue to read from the Srimad Bhagavatam. Today, continuing Canto 4, Creation of the Fourth Order, Chapter 22, Prithu Maharaja's meeting with the Kumaras, text 45. Saina, yeah? Okay. Saina Patyang Charajang Cha. Saina Patyang Charajang Cha. Dandane Tritvam Evacha. Dandane Tritvam Evacha. Sarva Loka Dipatyang Cha. Sarva Loka Dipatyang Cha. Veda Shastra Vid Arhati. Veda Shastra Vid Arhati. Saina Patyang Charajang Cha. Dandanit Ritvang Evacha. Sarva Lokati Patyang Cha. Veda Shastra Vid Arhati. Please chant. Dandanit Ritvang Evacha. Sainapatyam. Post of Commander-in-Chief. Okay. Cha and Rajyam, post of ruler over the kingdom. Cha and Danda, ruling. Netritvam, leadership. Eva, certainly. Cha and Sarva, all. Loka adhipatyam, proprietorship of the planet. Cha and Veda Shastravit, one who knows the purport of Vedic literature. Arhati, deserves. Translation. King Prithu Maharaj. Yes, no, this is actually okay, yes. Since only a person who is completely educated according to the principles of Vedic knowledge deserves to be commander-in-chief, ruler of the state, the first to chastise, and the proprietor of the whole planet. Prithu Maharaja offered everything to the Kumaras. I'll read it again. Since only a person who is completely educated according to the principles of Vedic knowledge deserves to be commander-in-chief, ruler of the state, the first to chastise, and the proprietor of the whole planet, Prithu Maharaja offered everything to the Kumaras. So we're having a very dense purport and relatively long, and I would like to request the audience that everyone remembers two things from what I'm reading. And after this, we will have interaction. We will ask you. Yes, please, everyone, remember two things from what we read. Purport. Srila Prabhupada is explaining. In this verse, it is very clearly stated that a kingdom, state, or empire must be governed under the instructions of saintly persons and brahmanas, like the Kumaras. When monarchy ruled throughout the world, the monarch was actually directed by a board of brahmanas and saintly persons. The king, as the administrator of the state, executed his duties as a servant of the brahmanas. It was not that the kings or brahmanas were dictators, nor did they consider themselves proprietors of the state. The kings were also well versed in Vedic literatures, and thus were familiar with the injunctions of Sri Ishopanishad. Ishavasyam idang sarvam. Everything that exists belongs to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. In Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna also claims that he is the proprietor of all planetary systems, Sarva Loka Maheshwaram. Since this is the case, no one can claim to be proprietor of the state. The king, president, or head of the state should always remember that he is not the proprietor, but the servant. In the present age, the king or president forgets that he is the servant of God and thinks of himself as a servant of the people. The present democratic government is proclaimed to be a people's government, a government by the people and for the people. But this type of government is not sanctioned by the Vedas. The Vedas maintain that a kingdom should be governed for the purpose of satisfying the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and should therefore be ruled by a representative of the Lord. The head of a state should not be appointed if he is bereft of all Vedic knowledge. In this verse it is clearly stated, Veda Shastra Vid Arhati, that all high government posts are especially meant for persons who are well conversant with the teachings of the Vedas. In the Vedas there are definite instructions defining how a king, commander-in-chief, soldier, and citizen should behave. Unfortunately, there are many so-called philosophers in the present age who give instruction without citing authority, and many leaders follow their unauthorized instruction. Consequently, people are not happy. The modern theory of dialectical communism, set forth by Karl Marx and followed by communist governments, is not perfect. According to Vedic communism, no one in the state should ever starve. Presently, there are many bogus institutions which are collecting funds from the public for the purpose of giving food to starving people. But these funds are invariably misused. According to the Vedic instructions, the government should arrange things in such a way that there will be no question of starvation. In the Srimad Bhagavatam it is stated that a householder must see to it that even a lizard or a snake does not starve. They also must be given food. In actuality, however, there is no question of starvation, because everything is the property of the Supreme Lord, and He sees to it that there is ample arrangement for feeding everyone. In the Vedas, Katha Upanishad 2:13, it is said, Eko bahunang yo vidadhati kaman. The Supreme Lord supplies the necessities of life to everyone, and there is no question of starvation. If anyone starves, it is due to the mismanagement of the so-called ruler, governor, or president. It is clear, therefore, that a person who is not well versed in the Vedic injunctions, Veda Shastra Vid, should not run for election as president, governor, etc. Formerly, kings were rajarshis, which meant that although they were serving as kings, they were as good as saintly persons, because they would not transgress any of the injunctions of the Vedic scriptures, and would rule under the direction of great saintly persons and brahmanas. According to this arrangement, modern presidents, governors, and chief executive officers are all unworthy of their posts, because they are not conversant with Vedic administrative knowledge, and they do not take direction from great saintly persons and brahmanas. Because of his disobedience to the orders of the Vedas and the brahmanas, King Vena, Prithu Maharaja's father, was killed by the brahmanas. Prithu Maharaja therefore knew very well that it behooved him to rule the planet as the servant of saintly persons and brahmanas. Om Agyana Timirandasya Ganandana Shalakaya Chakshur Unmilitang Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Nama Ong Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prashtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamin Iti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharini Nirvishesha Sunyavadi Pastada Desatarini Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Since only a person who is completely educated according to the principles of Vedic knowledge deserves to be commander-in-chief, ruler of the state, the first to chastise, and the proprietor of the whole planet, Prithu Maharaja offered everything to the Kumaras. Hare Krishna. Okay, let's hear.
Yeah, the main point I would say was that, a ruler of any kind should be conversant in realizing Vedic knowledge and also be advised by brahmanas.
Yes. One point each is okay. Otherwise, maybe we steal too much from others. Yeah, 1 point, you can say. Yes, but let us summarize. Yes, Guru and Sadhu and Shastra. And a ruler here specifically is meant that he should be, how to say? Under the control, actually, and under the guidance of Shastra and Sadhu.
Yes. Under control of brahmanas who also have the right philosophy, not some philosophy that was found out, like a communism or something. Yes, it must be like a perfect philosophy, otherwise it will be chaos and some experimental trying to find out what will be the best, like now in European Union.
Yes.
It's like everybody can do what he wants, but it doesn't work.
Yes, thank you very much. Yes, the brahmanas they should also be properly situated. And this is a very deep topic, actually. Maybe we can touch on it later on. Yes?
Kingdom and a servant of God. I wish a kingdom, someone who is in the highest state, I don't know, who is a real, who is real living for God and to do this for God. And this is someone I wish that is in a higher place. And
Okay. One who is actually a servant of God, he should have a high position.
Yes.
Yes. Yes?
Was sollen wir jetzt sagen eigentlich?
Irgendeinen Punkt, woran du dich erinnerst von der Erläuterung. Ai. Okay.
The king should be a Raja Rishi, and on the right guidance, there's no talking about starvation.
Yes.
And everybody should be given food, even like a lizard or a snake.
Yes, yes. One brahmachari, he once told me that he was very he also used to distribute books sometimes, and you can also take the microphone.
So what I remember
okay.
that
As you like. No, I just wanted to tell this short, and you keep, and then you say also. But I wanted to share this anecdote that amongst Hare Krishna people in general and brahmacharis even more maybe, we have this feeling that yes, we have to spread Krishna consciousness and book distribution and sankirtan, reaching out. and this brahmachari he took some chumana laddus from here, and then he went for a walk, and then he found one anthill, and then he put the laddu into crumbs and distributed amongst the ants. And he told me that he did this, and then he said that I felt just like on book distribution, like very ecstatic. Distributing the mercy, and they will become human beings next life. So, yes, you remind me of this. No one should be hungry, and and at best everyone should get prasadam. Yes.
So what I remember that the Lord, He is a proprietor of everything, Sarvaloka Maheshwara.
Yes.
Yes, I also understood that Krishna provides for everyone, and there's enough for everyone. And if there's not enough, the leaders didn't distribute righteously.
Yes, thank you. You also want to say?
I remember the same things, but also it was a present.
Say one thing.
The father was killed by Romans. I don't know why. I don't know the story. So
okay. Yes. King Vena, he was not such an ideal king as Prithu Maharaj. On the contrary, he was forbidding religious activities actually, and then at one point he the sages, they came to him and they requested some justification. They asked, why is things going on like this? And Vena, he said that in the scriptures it is said that the king is Naradeva. He is God in a human form. So if you just worship me, that is enough. You don't have to worship anyone else or anything else. So when he said that, then they decided that he is not qualified, and they killed him. That is true. It was an emergency. It was, yeah. It says they spoke some mantras, or high sound, some high pitched sound. It says, and with that sound, then he just fell over dead. So, yes, that is what happened. So yes, and here, Srila Prabhupada, there's a humorous element here. Prithu Maharaj therefore knew very well that it behooved him to rule the planet as the servant of saintly persons. Like, otherwise he may have the same problem. So that is one interesting element also, that the Brahmanas are actually more powerful than the Kshatriyas. Nowadays, this is not so easily understood because we don't see anyone lighting fire with mantra or being able to kill just by producing a sound. So nowadays we don't see this so much, but in former times Brahmanas were very powerful. In Ramayana, there's one description that there was one, we may know this name, the sage Vasishta. He also appears in Srimad Bhagavatam, and it is described that he was attacked by 100 powerful soldiers, princes actually. There was one king, he had a quarrel with Vasishta, and he sent 100 of his sons, and they attacked him. And it says that this sage, Vasishta, he just roared. He just roared. And all of them burned to ashes. So that was a Brahmana, a Vedic Brahmana. Very, very powerful persons. So, yes. Yes, and King Prithu, so he could understand that these Brahmanas are very powerful. The four Kumaras actually, they are the oldest people in the universe after Lord Brahma. So how powerful they must be, how long they must live, how much influence they must have. So Prithu, as far as we can see from all the descriptions, Prithu Maharaj, he's very happy about their association. He's very grateful and he's very respectful. He is affectionate, and they also have affection and appreciation for him. So there is a good relationship. But we can assume that the general understanding was that if this is a real Brahmana, you have to be very careful. Otherwise, you may burn into you may burn into ashes. So Srila Prabhupada is giving a hint at this principle. Yes. So. Yes, there is this general topic which sometimes appears in Srila Prabhupada's purports and also in the verses sometimes of the Bhagavatam, that the relationship between Brahmanas and Kshatriyas, or those who are dedicated to truth and spiritual realization, and those who are in charge of ruling. Those who rule people, rule countries, rule even the whole planet. What is their relationship? And it is explained that yes, the Brahmanas are considered superior, and the kings are their servants. Just like here, the verse itself says that Prithu Maharaj offered everything that was in his possession. He was ruling the whole earth at his time. So he was offering that. And even in the verse before it was mentioned, even his private treasury. So even his things he had at home, so to say. Everything he offered to the four Kumaras. In 9th canto, there's a similar description about Lord Ramachandra. Lord Ramachandra, he became the king of Ayodhya and then also the king of the whole world. And then he did, I think it was Ashvamedha Yagya. And Ashvamedha Yagya is a sacrifice performed by a person. And if that yagya is done, then it means that it symbolizes that this person is emperor of the world. So if nobody objects that this yagya is done, it means that I surrender. So the whole world was surrendered to Lord Ramachandra at the time, and he performed this yagya. And in those times also there were yagya means you need brahmanas, you need those powerful persons who speak the mantras and make sure that the proper effect is there. So those brahmanas were there, and Lord Ramachandra, with their help, they were performing this yagya, establishing him as the emperor of the whole world. And then after that was done, then he affectionately offered the 4 directions to the 4 priests that were in the sacrifice. So he said that, okay, one sage, you take the east, from here everything until the horizon and beyond, this is yours. And everything to the north, it is yours. And south and west, everything is yours. I give it to you in charity. And the sages very lovingly and affectionately, they offered everything back to him. So, and that is their duty also, to not claim that, yes, the king is giving me, haha, I take. No, but they are expected to be detached also and able to judge what is appropriate. And the king is, how to say? The king is qualified. So yes, he has to continue that service. But it is his service. And the king, in turn, by always feeling himself and feeling himself as a servant of the Brahmanas and also demonstrating that disposition. Officially, I give you everything. That is the mood. Officially, I give you everything, and you can do as you like. So, by acting in that spirit, then the king will also not be intoxicated by his possessions, because he clearly feels that it is not my possession, and I'm ready to give it up. And we can take this also as a general principle that we should also learn to understand that nothing belongs to us, actually. Like Srila Prabhupada is here quoting, Ishavasyamidang savam. Everything that exists belongs to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So this Srila Prabhupada also translated the whole Ishopanishad for us and for the world, and everyone is recommended to realize this principle that everything belongs to Krishna, and we are caretakers. We are caretakers of the money that we possess or the items that we have. We are caretakers of some people around us, maybe sometimes, if we have children, if we have relatives. So all these people and all these things are not ours. Everything belongs to Krishna. And that is what we have to practice, to understand and to apply, that everything has to be dealt with for the pleasure of Krishna. Yes. And generally people have a little bit, but a king, he has a lot. A Vedic king, it could go so far that he rules the whole planet. So therefore, for him especially, it is important to realize this principle. Everything belongs to Krishna. And he practices this by always offering everything to the Brahmanas. Yes. In today's world, many states have cut that, how to say, that dependency on religion or religious institution. Like Germany, they will not, as far as I'm conscious, they will not go to ask the Pope for advice about their political movements. But there are states in the world where the state is governed by religion. In many Eastern countries, Near East, Middle East countries. I'm not well informed. I just hear this sometimes, that the state is very much under the control of religious leaders. Or at least there are attempts of religious leaders to claim that right to be the highest authority in the state. And many times we feel that this is not good. Why? Stas, he raised that point very much, that a Brahmana has to be qualified. The Brahmana has to be actually qualified, and he actually has to be dedicated to truth and not to a lower motive. And And this is such a bold concept nowadays, because nowadays the truth is what you believe. Yeah, everyone can believe what he wants. Yes, you believe in Krishna. We believe in everything comes from matter. Everything is a chemical composition. Or we believe that God is like this or God is like that. We believe that, yes, there is something, but no one knows. So, and the mood is that I believe what I like, and you believe what you like, and let us leave it like this. No, let us not discuss it. Let us not, because we will only have conflict like that. So there is no Brahminical culture. A Brahminical culture means that we discuss and we have a culture of thinking about things. In the Bhagavad Gita, I was blessed to read that verse some time ago. Krishna is explaining that amongst logicians, I am the conclusive truth. So, and Srila Prabhupada in the purport, he was explaining that there is one way of arguing that the person whom you you argue with another person and you establish your own argument on the basis of his evidence. So that means you refer to that source of knowledge which he accepts, and you quote that, and you use that to substantiate your own opinion, your own understanding of things. Like in one book it is said, love God with all your heart and your neighbor like yourself. So, and if you argue with people of this, with people who follow this book, then you say that yes, this means that we are doing the right thing because we're doing bhakti yoga. Bhakti yoga means to love God and to satisfy God. So, so you use the others' statements to substantiate your own, or you just try to refute. You just so Srila Prabhupada was explaining, but Krishna is represented by that conclusion that is arrived at after a proper discussion. We look at the topic from different sides and angles. We think about it deeply, and then we draw a conclusion. And that conclusion, Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, that is I. I am the proper, mature conclusion of the search for the proper understanding. So, that is a Brahmana. A Brahmana is not interested in his own opinion. A Brahmana is always ready to learn and to grow in his perspective and vision. And a Brahmana will never deny to adjust his understanding. Yeah. One devotee whom I met very early in my contact with this movement, he said that if you show me any better philosophy, I will take it. But until now, you have not shown me, so I will stay here. So that is a very mature approach. Always ready to learn, always ready to let loose some concept that we have for now and accept something higher. That is very sincere. So, yes. Yes. So that is a Brahmana. So such a person, he can expect to actually grow in knowledge and grow in character. If a person does not have these qualities very strongly, then he will not be able to become so ultimately spiritually powerful that he becomes an authority of the ruler, of the person who's materially strong. And I was thinking that, nowadays we don't see that the Brahmana, he just turns someone to ashes like that. We don't see this phenomena generally. But I was remembering that it is some time back, we heard a lecture about Srila Narottam Das Thakur, who is a follower of, we can say, the six Goswamis and the follower of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And in the lecture, it was explained that one time Srila Narottam Das Thakur, he was attacked by some Muslims. He was a Hare Krishna. he was propagating the worship of Lord Chaitanya. He was propagating the worship of Radha and Krishna, and somehow some Muslim group, they became very antagonistic towards him, and those I'm not sure if I remember the detail properly. You please not take it for granted, but something like this. The idea comes out that these soldiers wanted to attack him, and Narottam Das Thakur, he just cried out, "Radhe Shyam!" And it says that all their beards started burning. So yes, burning again. There's some fire today. And such stories are also there in Srimad Bhagavatam. We have Ambarisha Maharaj, who was a saintly king, but he was especially a very, very pure devotee of Krishna. And he was attacked by one sage who was becoming angry and who wanted to kill him. And the king, it says, he just accepted. Okay, because socially he is the Brahmana, he is my superior, let him attack. Whatever God wants, that shall happen. And I will not interfere. So even though he was threatened to die, but the Lord, Krishna, he decided that, no, this is not good. I don't want him to die. I want to protect him. And he sent his Sudarshan Chakra to protect King Ambarisha. So that principle may be applied even nowadays. That one becomes so dear to the Lord that the Lord will protect him. Prahlad Maharaj, same principle. Prahlad Maharaj, he never tried to protect himself when it was attempted to kill him. He would always remain peaceful and absorbed transcendentally. And he is our Acharya for remembering the Lord. So his remembrance then is very deep. So deep, he is not like, oh, danger, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. No, he is absorbed already before the danger comes. And the danger is not agitating him. That is very deep. So Prahlad Maharaj, like it is described, they tried to throw him off a cliff. They put him with snakes. They tried to make elephants run over him. All these things. And he always remains peaceful. And always the Lord, who is sitting in the heart of the elephant and in the heart of the snake, and who is controlling all laws of nature, he always decides, no, I will protect him. He will not die. So that principle is very practical, actually. And devotees also can tell their own small stories sometimes, some small miracles, that this is how the Lord saved us in that situation. Either physical danger or some even socially dangerous situations or challenging situations. Devotees have experienced that the Lord protects. But it takes some courage it takes a lot of courage to voluntarily seek the risk, to voluntarily decide that I will dedicate to Krishna like this, no matter what. That is very heroic. Like I heard that one disciple of Srila Prabhupada in India. His name Gopal Krishna Maharaj. He passed away some months ago now. He was a very great, we could say acharya, very great personality, and he and he was in charge of the first ISKCON temple in Delhi, New Delhi, capital city of India, and they had, although I think Srila Prabhupada himself established the deities, no? Radha Partha Sarati. I don't know. I think so. But anyway, so at one point, some people came to Maharaj and they put the gun on his chest and they said, "We want your land. You have to sell us your land." And the gun was on his chest. And he just said, "No, I cannot do this. Hare Krishna. I will not give you this land." And somehow he was not shot like that. My own spiritual master, he became temple president of Vrindavan. There were some serious problems, and he knew that he was risking his life. He knew that it was very dangerous. And they actually shot him. They tried to kill him like that. They could not kill him, or they could not destroy his body. He survived and he became a spiritual master like that. But there was great danger, and the great devotees sometimes they take those risks. So we have modern examples also. But even if we don't have such courage or deep convictions yet, that is also, we are not completely lost. We are allowed to just, Srila Prabhupada, there's one purport, and it is explained that how does one come to the point of full surrender to Krishna? And that is just by engaging in devotional service. We hear about Krishna, we speak about Krishna, we think of Krishna, we do things for Krishna, and by that we become purified, and the soul will ultimately come to the point of full surrender. And yeah. Yes, and that is the ultimate principle. The principle of surrender to Krishna. That is the principle that makes a person exalted, either the Brahmana or the Kshatriya. Or there's also this other verse often quoted that one should not become a father or mother or king or whatnot, husband or wife or demigod, if one cannot deliver his dependents, those who are subordinate to him, from death. And deliver someone from death means to give him to Krishna, because Krishna is beyond death. Krishna is the personality beyond the material energy who resides in the spiritual realm, which is the realm of Sat Chit Ananda. And we're looking for that. So, and that is why just by hearing and chanting about Krishna, we will ultimately surrender to Krishna. Because if we just hear about Krishna, we will have an experience of his dimension. We will have an experience of eternity. We will have an experience of clarity and knowledge. And we will have an experience of happiness. And chanting Hare Krishna. If we chant nicely, our heart will be so full with spiritual potency. We will feel the spiritual dimension so nicely. And then, what is the need to put anything else into that heart? Or what is the need of giving that heart to anything else? There's no need, because the heart is happy. So we will gradually realize the spiritual dimension simply by associating with Krishna through hearing, through chanting, through remembering. And it is not outer worldly, and it is a gradual process. It is not 1 second done, but it is just a matter of a process. So we do our Shravanam Kirtanam Vishnu, and we will become spiritually advanced. The nature of this world is such that if we dedicate to Shravanam Kirtanam about Krishna, then we will become spiritually advanced. There is no question of not becoming spiritually advanced if we engage in these activities, because that is how the world is made, by Krishna, and we will become those kinds of people who are connected with Krishna. Yes. That is practical. Yes. And as much as we become qualified, we can actually do good to the world. That is the situation. Like King Prithu, the people were very happy with him. Lord Ramachandra, the people were very happy under his guidance. Although he was only interested in Lord Rama is Krishna, but also in the first canto it is mentioned about Maharaj Yudhishthira, that when Maharaj Yudhishthira had become the king, because Krishna, who is his friend, he wanted Maharaj Yudhishthira to be the king. And he became the king. And it is described how when Maharaj Yudhishthira was a king, I don't remember all the details, but the cows in the fields were so happy that the whole field was muddy with milk. They were just dripping milk all the time. If a cow is happy, the cow will give milk. So the cows were so happy that the milk was always dripping from their udders, and the ground was muddy from the milk. Can you imagine? Can you imagine? Like next field here, you have all the cows of the neighbors, and they're so happy that all the milk is dripping, and the whole field is wet and like a swamp, a milk swamp. So that was the situation when the king was perfect. And what else? I remember especially that there was no extreme heat, and there was also no extreme cold. No minus something. It was always warm. It was always pleasing. The weather was always nice. And people had no distress of any kind. And it is especially mentioned, no mental distress. No one was depressed. No one was lethargic. No one ever felt hopeless or helpless. People were very happy. How is that affected? Because Maharaj Yudhishthira, he was on top, and he was a devotee of Krishna. And I remember this because I liked it so much. Nispriha sarva kamebhya Krishna padanu sevaya. Maharaj Yudhishthira, he never wanted anything in this world. That is astonishing because it was all his. He had everything, and it explained. No, Stas mentioned this. No, he remembered this. He had opulence like king, or more opulence, or more opulence than King Indra. No.
It's mostly about the story of friends of Krishna.
Yes. More than Indra. More opulence than King Indra. Can you imagine? So Maharaj Yudhishthira, he was very opulent. He was wealthy. He was surrounded by wonderful relatives like Arjuna and Bhima and Nakula and Sahadeva, and great brahmanas like Kripacharya and others. And he was the most, like his position was the most exalted it could become. There was nothing for him to achieve. So Maharaj Yudhishthira was like that, but nispriha sarva kamebhya. There was no ambition to fulfill any selfish desire. There was no ambition for anything. He didn't want anything. Why? Krishna padanu sevaya. Because he was absorbed, because he was dedicated to maybe you know enough Sanskrit. Krishna pada anusevaya. What does that mean? Serving the feet of Krishna. Yes, he was always absorbed in that. He was always doing that. And those who are absorbed like this, they feel the pleasure, they feel the fulfillment. They are very, very happy by serving Krishna. So that principle we can understand from this. If we become happy in the service of Krishna, if we become happy in serving the lotus feet of Krishna, how to do that? We have to find out. We don't have enough time to think about it now, too much in public, but every one of us should think about, how will I worship the lotus feet of Krishna? How will I do that? Why? Because if I do that, I become very, very happy. And if I become happy like this, in the service of Krishna, Krishna will see to it that I can make others also happy in the service of Krishna. If I become happy in the service of Krishna, then I can also help others to become happy in the service of Krishna. And Krishna will put me, Krishna will make me the king, Krishna will make me a temple president, Krishna will make me a brahmana, or he will give me initiation, Krishna will change the lives of the people around me because I'm happy in his service. So that is the greatest duty, to become happy in the service of Krishna. If we become happy in the service of Krishna, then Krishna is interested that everyone becomes happy in his service. And Krishna, as much as a person becomes satisfied and mature in his service to him, then Krishna can give him opportunity to like we sing that every day, Lokanath Lokera Jivana. The spiritual master is the Lord of the whole world. Why? Because he can make everyone happy. Srila Prabhupada, he is making the whole world happy. Yes. Okay. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Shri Krishna's lotus feet ki jai. Gaura Bhaktavinda ki jai. Okay. We are still a little bit before 9 o'clock. If anyone likes to comment something, that is very welcome. Or if anyone likes to ask something, that is also very welcome. Yes? Was my class okay?
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
Motivating.
This is our homework. My homework also. We have to think about what does it mean to serve the lotus feet of Krishna? Let's think about that. Let's find out. Serve the lotus feet of Krishna. Then we have to serve more. Make more gimmicks. Okay. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.